Hello everyone, welcome back. I appreciate this is a like a new video quite soon after the video that I just made not so long ago. It's kind of part two to that video really. I don't feel I could pack enough information into that first video without making it too long. So this is like an extension of that first video about AI search and how it's changing the industry. Now, the changes are absolutely massive, and I'm going to be reading off the screen quite a bit and looking at the camera at the same time. There's so much information to kind of, get across. I mean, let me just start by saying that I bought a new laptop the other day for work, and once I turned it on and configured it and everything, one of the first things that came up was, I've got it written down here, choose an AI chatbot to use in the Firefox sidebar. And it gave me a choice: Anthropic Claude, ChatGPT, Google Gemini, Hugging Chat, and LeChat Mistra, something like that. So, people are using these AI chatbots to find information. It's long been known that, when you type something into AI, that it records and learns from the conversation to personalize, the information. And we're going to get into this in this video, that's why I'm making it. But what's basically happening in a nutshell is, people are starting to use AI and AI chatbots more, or certainly on a much closer part to the traditional search engines like Yahoo, Google, and Bing. Also, as I touched on in my last video, in Google AdWords, they've made massive changes to the interface, to the way it looks. Now, I mean, compared to setting up like a YouTube ads campaign like a month ago, it's completely different. I mean, in terms of the smart campaign and the AI, functionality, and also the results. You seem to be getting less for more, so you're paying more but you're getting less. That's certainly been my experience. I know other businesses have reported similar drops in organic rankings and stuff like that. But look, there's so much information, so I really want to keep this video short because I don't want it to be an hour long and there's a lot to get through. So let's start with the Adobe business reports. Now, you'll find these on Google. Just type in Adobe business and you'll be able to pull up the reports and read them in your own time. But I've got a couple of them open in front of me. I've got loads of windows open on my laptop at the moment. So let's just talk about the explosion in so-called the way people are using AI search to search. So the explosion in AI search. Let me just pull it up. I think I've got too many windows open as usual. Okay, so here it is. The explosive rise of generative AI referral traffic. Now, as I'm reading this out and looking down on my screen, because I'm not going to remember it all, I will try to be looking at camera as well. So just bear with me, okay? Because there's a lot to go through. So the reason why these systems are becoming popular is because they're able to take into account context and through machine learning and stuff like that. So let me just read out what it says, because this is the best way I'm going to be able to relay what I want to impart on this video. So this is what it says. It says integration of generative AI assistants. I use them all the time. ChatGPT, GPT, Google Gemini, Perplexity is quite good. Such as Claude, Copilot, and Perplexity, I've not used Copilot, into the digital customer journey is revolutionizing customer behavior across industries. According to Adobe research from July 2024 to February 2025, web traffic from AI-driven referrals increased more than tenfold in the United States. AI referrals are rapidly closing the gap with traditional channels in conversion rates and revenue per visit. And surveys of US consumers Adobe conducted in September 2024 and February 2025 indicate that they are growing more comfortable using generative AI to shape their decision making. See, that's interesting, isn't it? It seems we're entering an era where people are, trusting the AI and the AI chatbots more than Google, if that makes sense. I must admit, when I recently bought my laptop, a couple of days before, I was using AI chatbots extensively, 2 or 3 different ones, to compare the specs of the different computers, because Google just wasn't able to give me that information, not without me spending lots more time clicking through the different websites and having multiple browser tabs open and all that kind of nonsense. So you can see how these things work, because they simplify the decision making. You can ask these chatbots to benchmark high cost, medium to high cost items, whether it's a holiday or it'll give you context about times, and if it's computer specs and performance and expected warranty and all the rest of it. So whereas Google will just bring up the results that perhaps a business has put up, these chatbots will actually give you context, and it's often very personalized because it's obviously recorded all of your previous conversations. So let's get back to it. So it says, and so yeah. So I just read out that AI conducted research from September 24 to February 2025, and it indicates they're growing more comfortable using this is consumers using AI to make their decisions. Here we explore key trends in AI adoption and the broader implications for how companies can capitalize on AI-powered consumer interactions. Now, this is a big thing because obviously I work in marketing, that's my sector anyway, and traditionally it's all been about matching keywords to intent through SEO, and that's kind of, whilst that's still exists for the time being, things are starting to change, there's no doubt about that. These AI powered chatbots are getting more and more intelligent, more and more powerful, much quicker, much more accurate, and as I said, they factor in context, and they're able to provide people with help in the very early stages of the decision making process, which is something that maybe Google can't do so well. Right. Consumers are using generative AI to help determine where to put their money. Consumers report a wide range of uses for generative AI. Half of AI users we surveyed, this is Adobe, are using it for general research, and 39% use it for things like movie and dinner recommendations. Many are using AI to aid in traditional e-commerce tasks as well. 56% of AI users report replacing traditional search with AI assistants. Yeah, I've been doing that subconsciously. 25% of generative AI for shopping and price comparison. I've been doing that as well. It's amazing how these things creep up on us. 18% use generative AI for tailored product recommendations. Taken as a whole, AI use for e-commerce is more common than AI use for creating social media content, 20%. Task automation, 17%. Art generation, 15%. Or coding, 10%. And e-commerce is at the center of the generative AI boom. In recent months, AI referrals to travel, retail and banking sites have grown exponentially, doubling almost 2 to 3 months since July 2024. Engagement on AI referral traffic has improved to the point where it now performs as well or better than general traffic, as AI platforms move customers further along towards purchase prior to visiting a website. And there's some graphs there. I'm going to put all this in the description, you can have a look. It's absolutely massive. You can see the way things are going and why businesses, marketeers, organizations, charities, anything like that, or any kind of cohorts or groups of people like that will need to adapt quite rapidly to stay visible, because the way consumers are searching for information and what I'm trying to say is, when you're marketing to people, okay, the very early stages are really important. Now, the LLMs, large language models, can kind of prep people a little bit better, for with regard to context and exactly what they're looking for. Even if they don't search for exactly the right search terms or search keywords. You know, the LLMs, large language models, are able to provide context and serve them up with what they're looking for a lot quicker than maybe going to Google, or not, you know, looking at 5 or 6 websites and, you know, getting to page 7 of Google and giving up, sort of things. Yeah, you know, for example. So look, I'm going to wrap up on, I'm not going to wrap up the video, I'm going to wrap up on this little bit here. I'm going to put this link to this PDF in the description, and I'd like you to look at it in your own time as a business person, or you know, an organization, or you might be the MD or chairman of an organization, and you'll see which way things are headed and why your organic traffic may very well be kind of slowing or dropping off, and there's reasons for that. Adobe have launched, or it's in the pipeline, let's say, something called the LLM Optimizer. Now, I went to have a look at it. I just read out what it says, you know, here, just very briefly. It says, customers and prospects increasingly turn to generative AI search and assistance for brand discovery. Adobe LLM Optimizer helps shape how your brand shows up in results, driving measurable visibility, qualified traffic, and influence at every stage of the customer journey. Sign up for updates. So I clicked that, and it's like a kind of little, it's kind of like a little landing page where you just enter some details, and when they launch it, they'll get in touch. There are some other platforms out there that are offering, it's a very new area, this, so the idea that there's hundreds of thousands of providers is absolute nonsense. You know, we're talking a handful, you know, if that. So I've seen something on it, SEMrush, that they do. I'll put the link in back to the description as well. I've seen something on SE Ranking. They've got like an AI overviews tracker. I'll put that in the description as well. Some of these things are likely to be quite expensive because it's a very, very new area. Well, I say that, I've just clicked on the price plan for SE Ranking for the AI thing. It's not too bad. It's you know, it's quite moderate. You know, we're talking the pro plan, 76 quid a month, 3 users, 30 projects. It's mainly, to be honest, it's mainly like an SEO platform. And what you're going to find is a lot of these SaaS SEO platforms are going to be scrambling to adapt to AI search because it's such a new thing. You know, if you let's just take a typical scenario. You have a web design agency or SEO design agency who handles your SEO, and they might have been doing a good job to date. You notice that you're not getting the results. You phone them up. You say, what's going on? And they sort of say, well, we're trying to tweak this, we're trying to tweak this, and they may not even be onto the AI search revolution. So it's such a new thing. I mean, these Adobe reports were only published last 2 or 3 weeks ago, 25th of May. Let me see. Yeah, it was only a week or 2 ago. Hang on, I'm good. Yeah. It's not so long ago, a week or 2 at most. But you know, it's a very new thing, and for that reason, you know, a lot of companies aren't configured and set up for this, and a lot of the providers aren't configured and set up for this. And so if you can get ahead of the curve now on this, okay, you know, you're at the absolute optimal cusp, peak moment in time. I mean, according to some of this Adobe research, like a year ago, the difference in conversion and all the rest of it between AI, you know, AI chatbots referring traffic and converting customers to traditional chatbots was like 42%. As of this year, a month or 2 ago, you know, maybe even March. So I'll put it all in the description. The gap's close to 9%. So you can see how these AI chatbots are really kind of massively closing the gap. Right, let's just wrap up on that one. I'm not wrapping up on the video. I mean, one thing I'll say is, like, not all these chatbots are right, because they're still learning about stuff. And, you know, when I signed into Google Gemini on my new laptop this morning, one of the first things it said, I decided to save it because I thought it was kind of relevant for conversation, is Google Apps are new technology, so your feedback will help make them better. You can also turn on Google Apps. Turning on this setting will let Google use some of your saved chats to develop and improve Google products and services in Google AI with help from human beings. Now, you know, If I stood, I might have closed the window for what I was looking for. But you get the point. Like and like all AI, and I've said this in previous videos, is only as good as the data sets that have trained it. So some of the more established AI, like ChatGPT, especially ChatGPT-4 models, higher if and when they come out, are going to be, more accurate than some of the newer versions of AI or some of the newer chatbots, which aren't so well known, haven't got so many queries typed into them and stuff. But they are very, very accurate. When I say very, very accurate, I mean, they offer context, which is something that Google can't really do, not to the same degree. I just want to read out this, like how AI is changing the search industry. Shift, number one, a shift from keyword matching to intent understanding. Okay. Traditional search engines largely relied on exact keyword matches. That's definitely true. AI, especially with large language models like Google's BERT and RankBrain, now excels at understanding natural language, user intent, and context. This means search results are becoming more relevant and nuanced, even for complex and conversational queries. Okay, point number two. Generative AI in search results, AI overviews, SGE, Google's search generative experience are similar features from other platforms like Perplexity AI, Microsoft Bing's Copilot, I've not used that one yet, provide AI generated summaries directly within search results. This allows users to get answers, I mentioned this last time, without clicking through multiple links, impacting website traffic and the importance of appearing in these summaries. So the key battle or challenge, if you like, for businesses, organizations, charities from now on is to appear in these AI summaries. Now, they appear at the top, and then the current existing paid ads appear below that, and then the organic traffic appears below that. But because these things understand user intent, context, and natural language, they're much better at providing users with exactly what they're looking for, and so they're not clicking through on other links, to different websites and stuff, and that might be impacting your traffic. So the race is to kind of, and as I say, it's such a new thing, and there's a handful of providers out there. I mean, even Adobe haven't launched their LLM optimizer yet. You can sign up for updates for when it's available. SEMrush have got something going, like an organic traffic, not organic traffic, like some kind of AI traffic monitoring feature. I'll put the link to that in the description. There's a few other turnkey solutions for different sectors. It's such a new area. If you can just keep your finger on the pulse, stay on the crest of a wave, because there's going to be a race now for, businesses and, companies and organizations and stuff to actually get featured in these AI summaries. And, that's a whole another conversation. I maybe need to make another video about that, because, it's not a 1, 2, 3 click process. It's much, I would say it's more complicated than that. People need to be looking at the content and, running it through various AI chatbots with knowledge of what these AI chatbots look for, to refine the text and, make it, look at schema markup and all that kind of stuff. So it's, look, that's another video. And as I say, I can't talk for too long because there's so much stuff to get through on this video. But, so look, point number 3 here is personalization. AI algorithms analyze user history, preferences, location, device type, and even real-time behavior to deliver highly personalized results. You see, that's something Google can't do. This is particularly valuable in e-commerce, entertainment, and education, where AI helps users discover content and products they might not have found otherwise. That's 100% true. Okay, so point number 4, and I'm trying to read this stuff because it's too much to remember and look at the screen at the same time, so please do bear with me, okay? So voice and multimodal search. The rise of voice assistants like Siri, Alexa, Google Assistant, requires businesses to optimize their content for conversational queries and visual elements, e.g. proper ALT tags, descriptions, and schema for images. The ALT tag is like something you, it's like a tag you attach to the image and it tells Google what the image is, but people are going to need to be doing that for the LLMs as well. So point number 5, new search interfaces and AI browsers. AI chatbots and dedicated AI search engines like Perplexity. See, that's quite interesting. Perplexity is like a free AI search engine and it will give you much more detailed response to a specific question than I believe Google will. If you type in some kind of technical question to Google, you could get any kind of mishmash results. You might be looking at, having to click loads and loads of links just to kind of try and put you on the right track. But with something like Perplexity, it will almost, arguably some of the other chatbots will almost certainly give you the answer, and what you're looking for and the context around it almost straight away. And that's the difference, you see. So yeah, Perplexity is quite good. Becoming primarily search tools for many. AI browsers are also emerging to integrate AI features directly into web navigation, allowing for tasks like generating answers, summarizing pages, and predicting user needs more efficiently. Point number 6, evolving SEO strategies. These strategies in search mean SEO is evolving. Businesses need to focus on semantic SEO, optimizing content to match underlying intent of queries, not just keywords. That's one of the big differences. In traditional Google SEO, it's all about matching keywords to intent, but it's more involved now. So structured data and schema markup helps AI understand context structure, leading to richer search snippets and better indexing. Content quality and authority, creating comprehensive, valuable content, but builds trust and answers users' questions. Sorry, to get my words out directly. Optimizing for AI overviews and featured snippets, aiming to have content summarized or highlighted by AI in search results. So you can see which way this thing's going and why there's this big scramble on, not just from the point of view of business owners or business managers or SEO departments or marketing people, but also digital marketing agencies and SaaS platforms are all scrambling to try and adapt to this new reality of where search is headed. It's not just a trend or a fad, it's definitely the future. And it's kind of coming at an explosive speed. Like I said, when I looked for my new laptop the other day, I barely used Google, Bing, or Yahoo at all. I basically did my search on ChatGPT, Google Gemini, and those were two main ones. And to be honest, that gave me. I had to pull up Google Gemini on a few things which it got wrong, but ChatGPT was a lot more accurate. And especially when it came to like the benchmarking of the specs with regard to like the processors and the speeds and the heat and the power consumption and all the technical specs surrounding that. Whereas Google wouldn't have given me that information, you see. So you see why people are using these things. And likewise, if you're looking for any other medium to expensive purchase, like a holiday, for example, because people are spending like £1,000, they don't want to make a mistake. So they're turning to these chatbots, and travel is one of the massive growth areas, actually, among like banking and finance and some other sectors, So, but it's only going to expand to other sectors, and people seem to trust AI more than they do Google. That seems to be the case. So, okay, let's move on. Okay, so just for fun for this video, I'll just ask Perplexity how many people are aware of AI search. This is the response I got, and it gave me these sources. So it pulled sources for the results from, because what it does is it pulls the information from different sources and then aggregates it using context and different language models and machine learning to give the best, most concise answer. So it pulled the information from YouGov, gov.uk, can't quite read that, text is Forbes, I can't quite read it. It's some organisation I've never heard of before. Right, so this is what it said. It said awareness, but the three main sources were Forbes, Gov.uk, and no, actually that's incorrect. Just above that is a title. It says sources. I'm going to click on that. So there's 19 sources that it's pulled the information from. Just giving you a real life example. So YouGov, Gov.uk, I think it's GSQI, something like that. Yeah, it's a bit weird that one. Forbes, search engine land, exploding topics, Pew Research Center, Deloitte, LinkedIn editors, WordStream. Let's click view more. See, it's interesting this because what it shows is that these AI chatbots, AI models, they pull information from credible and reliable sources. So, if there's some rubbish website nobody's ever heard of, it's unlikely to pull the results from there. Some of these things I'm reading off now is more of Statista, Office for National Statistics, Surfer SEO, McKinsey, BCG Global, Tech Radar, Today at Elon, Campus Technology, Reuters Institute Politics, Art Smart. You see 20 plus key statistics. So it's pulled the information from a good variety of credible sources, okay, rather than just one website or one unauthoritative website. So this is the response that it gave me the actual response that it gave. It says awareness of AI search and AI generated tools is quite high and growing rapidly, especially among younger and more digitally equipped populations. According to 2025 YouGov survey, 67% of people notice AI generated search summaries sometimes or often, and 38% read them in at least half of their searches. Yeah, that's interesting. Nearly 40% read them in at least half of their searches. Usage is highest among younger generations, with about 59% of Gen Z and 56% of millennials using AI search summaries frequently, compared to much lower usage among older age groups. A UK survey from late 2024 found that 60% of people are unaware of generative AI and 36% have used a generative AI tool. Younger people and men are more likely to use these tools, with 62% of those aged 16 to 34 having used Gen AI, compared to only 14% of those aged 55 to 75. So you can see it's mainly like the younger generation, but I've looked at some graphs, on different sources. I think it was Adobe, but ChatGPT and stuff, and the trend is growing even with the baby boomers. So it's only going one way, and companies, organizations, charities, marketers all need to be preparing for this, to stay ahead of the curve with the visibility in their businesses. Because what's going to happen, it's happening already, what's going to happen is, more and more people are searching through AI search, and the results they're getting from AI search seem to be a bit more, reliant upon perhaps, or happy with. I don't know if that's the best choice of words to use, because it pulls it from different sources. It's instant. It uses context and language models, and it, as I said previously, it will know pretty much what you're looking for, even if you don't use the right search terms on your query, which is something which is different to Google. So there's a whole load of stuff here. It's given me a huge response. I don't know if I can bother to read all that out, it's just too long. But you get the general idea how the search industry is changing. And, Google have made massive changes to their, I'll read out what it says here on ChatGPT. Google has made significant changes to its Google Ads algorithm and campaign structure over time, especially with a push towards AI-driven automation. Like Performance Max. Performance Max is when you run a campaign and the ad gets pushed out to, say YouTube, Google Shopping, Google Discovery, Google Maps, etc., etc. So, as well as for traditional, text ads. So that's what Performance Max is. And smart campaigns, which run off AI. They use AI. I mean, I ran a smart campaign recently. I was really disappointed with it. Basically you still get billed, but you don't get the results, and that's because it's quite a new thing. The AI is still learning. It hasn't got many data sets. Not only that, I do feel, kind of privately, or it's definitely a hunch I've got, is that, I actually phoned up the Google Ads Center, and one of the first questions they asked me is, they said, before we go any further, can we just ask if you spend any money with Meta or Instagram or TikTok and stuff like that? That's one of the first questions they asked me. So regardless of the answer I gave to that, the bottom line is that they're facing a tougher competition. They have more higher costs as a result of that, so maybe they're having to just pull back a little bit what they're actually giving people in terms of exposure and search results and visibility and stuff, and maybe the cost per acquisition or cost per click or whatever it is, depending on the campaign type, is going to go up a bit in time. With the AI, as it gets smarter, all that might change and it might result in fantastic campaigns. But at the moment, a lot of businesses have said they're not getting they've seen their organic traffic drop, but we're still getting billed for those Google ads. So it says if you're seeing a drop in YouTube subscribers from these campaigns, it is likely due to a combination of the following. So I won't talk for much longer. It says number one, shift to conversion-based optimization. Google's newer AI campaigns prioritize conversions as defined by your goals, e.g. purchases, leads, not necessarily softer metrics like YouTube subscribers. If your campaign isn't explicitly optimized for subscribe as a conversion, the AI may not prioritize it. Now mine was, but it still didn't deliver the results, to be honest. When I started my YouTube, I've done it all organically. Only very recently I started dabbling with paid search, paid ads, with regards to just try and be a bit more targeted with different countries. But I think maybe looking ahead, with regard to YouTube, just diversifying here from the main theme of the video. Maybe YouTubers might find it a bit more effective to focus on organic. So double down on the kind of keywords. Maybe use different language models to try and optimize the copy for the description, and just maybe use different language models to try and find the top trending, top performing keywords, and just try and add value and go about it organically. Because I think for the short to medium term, the kind of paid ads thing for YouTube is hit a bit of a block. Number two, limit over control and placement. See, this is what I noticed when I set up the last campaign. It says smart campaigns and performance max don't allow fine-grained control over where the ads appear. That means your ads might show up on placements or to audiences that are less inclined to subscribe. They may watch, click, or even convert elsewhere, but not subscribe. Point number three. So engagement goals are being deprioritized. Google has been phasing out campaigns like TrueView for action in favor of broader AI-optimized formats. These newer formats are less effective for brand building or community growth, like subscribers, and more focused on measurable return on investment. So what I'm saying is, if you've got a business with a website and a landing page where you sell a product, you'll probably get better results from YouTube ads compared to trying to build a community where you're trying to build subscribers and stuff. You get my point. Point number four, YouTube subscribers aren't considered high value conversions. From Google's AI perspective, a subscriber is a relatively low priority action unless you've explicitly trained the campaign. That is the goal. It's not directly monetizable for advertisers, so it doesn't get much algorithmic attention. Algorithm learning curve and attribution delay. Even if your ads are working, there may be a delay or disconnect in how conversions like subscriptions are tracked and attributed. If you're not using enhanced conversions or proper tracking on your YouTube channel, Google might not see those subscribers properly. So there's a few things you can do. I put all this in the description, but look, I think you got a message. Everything's changing, and rather than me do a kind of tutorial, maybe I can, for the next video, maybe I can do a video about some of the things you can actually do with regard to some of the emerging SaaS providers, some of the practical things you can do to help you become more visible to these LLMs, or AI chatbots as they're called, because that is the way it's going. And it doesn't matter what kind of business you run. If you're online, if you're relying on people to find you online, a lot of the newer laptops have got built-in chatbots. Microsoft got Copilot and all the rest of it, and this is taking away from traditional search. So, and it's not just that, it's the fact that, as I mentioned, with traditional search, it's all previously been about matching keywords to intent, and some other things, backlinks and stuff. But with these language models, they're much more intelligent. They learn about the person, their browsing habits. They know what, even if they don't use the right search terms in their query, the language model will more or less know what they're looking for, and it's able to add context, and through machine learning and deep language models and all the rest of it. Totally out of my head. So I'm going to leave that video there. I have talked for quite a while, but I just wanted to make it because what I said in the first video, this is part 2 to the AI search thing. What I said in the first video is absolutely correct. There is a bit of a drop. People are seeing a bit of a drop off in organic Google traffic, and they've redone the interface and all the rest of it. Part 2, which is what this video is about, is the reason why. In a bit more depth. Maybe for part 3, I'll do a video. It might not be too long, but a good 15 minutes or something, about some of the things you can do to try and get these language models to index and recommend your service, your product, to the people searching for it, because that's definitely the way things are going. So thank you very much for your time. Have a great day, have a great week, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.